Did you know that nearly 25% of business owners online reported feeling some kind of overwhelm when it comes to their content strategies? In fact, it was the number one reported feeling when it comes to content in my 2021 online business owner survey on content marketing. So if you find yourself in that crowd, well, you've got a whole lot of business friends right there with you. But help is on the way, dear. I'm sharing my three go to systems for consistent content creation that you're going to want in your life like yesterday. Welcome back to Your Content Empire, the YouTube channel dedicated to helping you get more consistent and profitable with content the easy way. I'm your host, Haley Dale, a content and sales funnel strategist obsessed with bringing you all the latest and greatest in content and marketing. Content consistency is a big problem for business owners. I mean, you know that when you get out there consistently, you get noticed and opportunities and new business come your way. But content consistency is also a little complicated too. What does it even mean? What is the exact definition of content consistency? It varies, right? Greatly from one person to the next, and it changes in different seasons and stages of business life as well. So, whatever it means to you, whether that's weekly like clockwork, sparingly like monthly, or something else, I have three systems that'll help you become rain or shine consistent with your content and help you quit feeling like you're in a can't win game of content whack a mole. Must have system number one is a content inspiration system. There is nothing worse than sitting down to write or film something and having to spend the majority of that time deciding what you're even going to talk about. Setting up an inspiration system, a place where you can collect and organize ideas, can make this whole ordeal a lot less of an ordeal. Can you just imagine what it would be like to have ideas for content topics, headlines, subject lines, freebies, social posts all at your fingertips? From personal experience, it saves me boatloads of time, allows me to actually feel excited about my content creation time, and leads to better, more inspired content overall. Plus, it keeps me much more focused and less likely to fall down a rabbit hole of research in trying to come up with an idea. True story. When it comes to setting up your own content inspiration system, I've got some tips. Number one, think about your 1H and 4Ws. Where do you want to host it? Where do you want to host your content inspiration system? I like to recommend that you choose a tool that you're already familiar with and using regularly, whether that's Trello or Asana, ClickUp, Airtable, or a plain old spreadsheet. My personal preference. What categories do you want to store in it? Here's some ideas to get you started with. Maybe it's content topic ideas, subject lines, emails, freebie or offer ideas, phrases that you love, memes that you found funny, or useful resources that you want to share at some point, and so on. Next up is when. When do you want to use this inspo? Maybe when you're planning your content or sitting down to create it. And how often will you go through and populate and organize it as you go, or creating a regular routine of it like once a month? Where again? So, where do you typically come across your inspiration? If you're going to organize your content inspiration bank once a month, make a checklist to go through all of your typical collection points to pull from into there. For me, this is a board on Pinterest where I put ideas, Facebook saves, Instagram saves, a folder in my email, and bookmarks folder. Plus, random bits of paper that I would lose if I didn't have somewhere to put those ideas. Finally, the how. How will you use the system? So, document your steps and make yourself a checklist to follow when you're using and populating your content inspiration bank. For example, will you mark something as complete after you've used it or remove it from the inspiration bank? Save yourself time by bookmarking links to all of these pieces of your system to make using and filling the system easy peasy. The key takeaway is this: as a business owner, ideas backed with action are most valuable currency you have. So honor them by creating a process for keeping track of all of your genius ideas. Must have system number two is a core content workflow. Core content refers to the regular piece of content that you put out regularly. Usually it's something like a weekly podcast episode or a bi-weekly blog post. And then all of the content that goes along with it, like your social media posts for that time frame, emails, images, etc. And so the workflow is documenting all of the steps that you take to get that core bundle of content ready and out the door and onto the internet. It's an investment that pays off in spades. It'll save you time from reinventing the wheel every single time you're creating something, ensure consistent quality, and show you opportunities to streamline and templify. In my agency, anytime a client hires us as their content dream team, our entire first month is dedicated to creating the next month's content and setting up all of these workflows so we never have to figure it out again. We spend time setting up things like templates for social, checklists for publishing, the process for getting all of their expertise goodness out of their heads and into their content, and a voice process for ensuring that the content sounds just like them. The time investment that we spend here helps us do what we do for them more efficiently, and it maintains quality. Here are some steps for documenting your own core content workflow. Step number one, start by deciding on your frequency for your core piece of content. This is usually a written blog post and a podcast episode and a video, and it might be weekly or bi weekly or monthly. Step number two, then jot down what has to happen in each of the four main phases of creating that piece of content: planning the content, creating the content, publishing the content, and promoting that content. Step number three, then for each of these tasks that you've written down, how can you make them easier? Is there a template, a checklist, a tutorial that could save you time each time you have to do this? And step four, finally package all of this up in your favorite task management tool as a template to duplicate for each new core piece of content that you create. Doing this won't only help you save time, but will also help you hire and train your first content VA much more effectively once you are ready for that step. And the good news is that this system creation process will work in any other area for any other system in your business that you need to create as well. The key takeaway here is anytime you have to do something more than once, there is an opportunity to create a system. And your core content workflow is one of those systems that has the highest potential return on investment for saving you time and ultimately helping you get more consistent with your content. Must have consistent content system number three is a content banking system. This is last but certainly not least, and I've talked about it ad nauseum before. But over 7 years ago, I created this little system called the Content Bank and immediately told everyone I knew they had to create one. And still to this day, people are always telling me that they're setting this up for themselves or they've just learned about it and they're so excited to start treating their content like the asset it is. It's one of the very first things that I have my content empire builders tackle when they join my program, Your Content, Your Empire, or basically anytime I'm talking to a business owner about their content at all. And here's why. As a business owner doing business online, every piece of content you create is an asset, which means it's something that holds value that can be leveraged to get more value out of it. When it comes to content, we want to make sure that you have a system in place to keep track of your assets so they can be reused and repurposed, saving you a ton of time. I mean, why create something over and over again when you've already created it? Here's what a content banking system looks like in practice. Step number one, choose somewhere to host your content bank. Just like with the content inspiration system, you can choose a tool you prefer to host it in, whether that's a simple spreadsheet or a fancy tool like Asana or Airtable. Little tip, I like to build this in a spreadsheet first if possible because that way you can upload it to any of these other tools much more easily. It makes it much more portable. Step number two, then you want to decide on content type categories. So these might be blog posts, videos, freebies, sales emails, courses, PDFs, etc. These would become the tabs if you're using a spreadsheet or rows if you're using a board style tool. Step three, decide what information you'd like to store for each type. What would be useful? Maybe it's a link, the text, the link to the folder, promo copy, images. I'd also like to set up topic category tags so that you can easily filter and find what you're looking for when you need it. Then, step number four is to add your content. Once the content bank is set up, it is time to start populating. If you have a ton of content, I want you to take your time. Start with the newest stuff and work your way backwards. Or if you don't have a lot of content yet, bonus, you're setting yourself up for success from the get go. I'll add a link to my content bank template below this video in case you want a template already done for you. So, what's next? After the system is set up and you get into the habit of shopping your old content before creating anything new, there's no need to reinvent the wheel every single time. Quality over quantity is absolutely the way to go when it comes to content. Now, let me know in the comments, which of these systems are you most excited about setting up? A content inspiration system, your core content workflow, or the content bank system? And if you struggle to get and create content consistently and want to get to the bottom of why that is, click below this video to take my free 60-second content consistency quiz. It'll help bring awareness to what's holding you back and give you some secrets to break the inconsistent content curse once and for all. All right, with that, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to be the first to know when the next video goes live, hint it's Monday, ring the bell. And until next time, here's to your content empire.